Hi friends, how are you? We're going to talk about departure process, what is currently going on around that issue of offloading and departure screening, and then we'll provide some suggestions that hopefully the government is listening to us. So the process of leaving the country as a Filipino, we go through primary inspection. So this is the normal inspection or screening that people go through when you present your passport, your visa, and a round-trip ticket. Well, it is a very common knowledge for Filipinos that the reality is you don't just show three things. You need to have a folder or an envelope of other things. When we leave the country as a tourist, we must have proof of travel intent. So as a tourist, you must have like hotel bookings or book tours, itinerary. Yeah. Next proof is that we must have proof of financial capacity that we can afford this trip. So proof of ties. This is a proof that we will not overstay in that foreign country and we will go back to the Philippines. For example, maybe you have a business here or you have a work here, so you're coming back to your work, or you have assets here. If you're approved, yay, that's the best possible scenario. But if the immigration is doubtful of your, especially if your travel intent, for whatever reason, they can send you to secondary inspection. Okay, you will not be cleared immediately. You would have to go to a different office, to a different queue or lane. Normally, usually the secondary inspection happens at the Travel Control and Enforcement Unit office at the airport. So at secondary inspection, you'll be grilled. So this involves a thorough examination of your age. Educational attainment, this is where they ask about your yearbook. Next is financial capability to travel, travel history, and country of destination. Then you also have to fill out the Bureau of Immigration Border Control questionnaire, and then clarificatory questions like, are your parents separated? What are the jobs of your siblings? Where is your yearbook? Yeah, that's just the examples. Two things that could happen: you could go through secondary inspection and be approved, yay! Or go through secondary inspection and be denied, being offloaded. Sorry, we can't let you go. Coordinate with your airline, get your bags, and cry in the corner. If you're offloaded, two things could happen. You could either be referred to the Interagency Council for Human Trafficking Office for investigation or questioning, because they think you're a possible victim, or you could be given this slip. So this is like requirements to be complied with. If they think that you don't have enough papers or enough documents to leave the country, for example, you're a Filipina, you're going abroad to be with your foreign fiance or boyfriend, and you didn't have CFO, then they'll give you this piece of paper and they'll write their CFO. You cannot leave until you comply with those requirements. Who gets secondary inspection? Now, secondary inspection is a big deal. Who gets sent there? Anyone, because there is really no exact standards being followed, yeah? It's basically just the immigration officer's prerogative. Kung tingin nila, I think, feeling ko you are a possible victim of human trafficking, go. And they aren't even following their own standards. Their memorandum circular, as much as practicable, secondary inspection shall not exceed 10 minutes unless extraordinary circumstances require a longer period of inspection. Remember the charm. She's a seasoned traveler, she has all the requirements, and she was sent to secondary inspection, which took so long that she missed her flight. If you've already been offloaded, they will have that in their system. For example, Chris is an OFW. She was offloaded in 2017, then she traveled in 2019. She was still sent to secondary inspection because they saw in the system that she was offloaded before, and then she traveled again twice in 2022, and again she's sent to secondary inspection every time. How do we remove that from the history of immigration? Tanong niya. Others were no longer sent, others were sent again and again. Again, there is no exact formula, there is no exact standards here. But why do we have such strict departure screening procedures? Yeah, human trafficking, immigration violations, but is the current system working? Is it efficient? Is it effective? Because if we look at the numbers that the immigration posted themselves, according to them, out of the 32,404 that were offloaded in 2022, only 2.69% were caught with fake documents, and only 1.46% were victims of human trafficking. About 95% were deferred for what reason? More than 30,000 people were deferred for what reason? They weren't human trafficking victims. So what were they? Kasi that's super dami, 30,000. And even to this year, January to February, offloaded about 6,788 people as they think were likely victims of human trafficking. But how many of those were sent to the Interagency Council for Human Trafficking? Only 57. Imagine, 6,788 and only 57 were sent to the Council for Human Trafficking for investigation. So what happened to the rest? Super dami naman. If we do very, very basic, simple math, 6,788 divide 59 days, January to February, parang 115 people are being offloaded daily. How many thousands of pesos are being wasted on that? I like what Senator Ejercito said. He said the data is an indicator of an inefficient procedure of the Bureau in screening departing travelers and an inadequate system of preventing cases of human trafficking and illegal recruitment. Yes. Bakit ang taas-taas ng deferred departure? About 95.85%, what was the reason for their offloading? Super dami. The math is not mathing. And if you look at the sheer volume of complaints and shared experiences on social media of these unfair offloading and cumbersome requirements of immigration, talagang you know it's real. There is a real problem in the departure screening process. Don't deny it, immigration. Kasi ang dami nagrereklamo, so it must be real. It's too much. You need to look at it, listen to it. So there is this probe into unprofessional and inefficient departure protocols. Good. According to DOJ, they will revise departure formalities following complaints from passengers. According to the Secretary of the Department of Justice, a DOJ official has ruled out the possibility of implementing defined set of immigration requirements, but while the rules are being adjusted, Secretary Remulla said or appealed to travelers to be more tolerant of the strict rules. We've been tolerant for decades. When would that day come that we would only just have to show passport, visa, and return ticket? Kailan kaya yun mangyayari? Or there will be no grilling? Parang hindi din. Kasi if you look at the tone of immigration then, if you've been reading their press releases, in fact, the immigration commissioner issued these the other day, Tansin ko to officers, remain steadfast in your duties. And then, last press release, I have instructed our officers to keep doing their duties with dignity and patriotism. Social media ridicule will not deter us from performing our mandate to combat human trafficking. Kasi yung enforcement nyo, it's too much. You're power tripping. No. Asking for yearbook, asking people whether their parents are separated. What does that have anything to do with travel? So immigration, you are being called out. Yes, when you are being too much, when you're not being fair, yes, you will be called out. Call it ridicule or whatever. You are being paid by the people to do your job accordingly and with respect. There is really a problem. You must acknowledge it. Well, we have the right to travel, and Article 3, Section 6 of the Philippine Constitution guarantees our liberty of travel. And then they would say, oh, but there is a following sentence, which shall not be impaired except in the interest of national security, public safety, or public health, as may be provided by law. The provision covers the right to travel both within and out of the country. But what's going on is they just offload people really without proof or concrete reasons. You can't keep on offloading people based on intuition or feeling nyo lang. Sometimes you ask of requirements that are really totally irrelevant to the trip because there is no standards being followed. Anyways, these are my suggestions. These are not just my suggestions. I gather them from different people. This departure screening process is not fair. First is overregulation. It harms so many travelers already. There are many other travelers who aren't at risk of human trafficking or being affected, offloaded kahit genuine tourists naman. Look at this. This is from a Filipino who was gonna go abroad for training by his company and he was offloaded. Immigration was asking duly notarized guarantee letter of company signed by authorized representative. Okay? But then, you're also asking for certified true copy of SEC certification, BIR certification of company, certified true copy, employment contract, invitation letter, payments pay slips. Bakit kayo hihingi ng certification sa SEC at sa BIR? You can easily just go online, write the name of the company, and see that they're registered with SEC. Bakit pa hihingi ng certified true copy? Extra cost, extra hassle for the traveler. Why? This overregulation already have so many unintended consequences. Confusing, expensive requirements, and immigration. You're not clean yourself. Parang dirty din kayo. Like your agency needs to be cleaned as well. Look at the news. Parang kapwa nyo din. Parang you're part of the problem of illegal migration and human trafficking kasi some of you are even benefiting and profiting from it. This is my suggestion. First, publish travel requirements as clear and comprehensive standards. Look, a lot of travelers are not aware of what is exactly needed. They rely on YouTube, on vloggers like me. I love giving information, but people shouldn't rely on us. It should be on the government side, but there is walang site, guys, where you can check the requirements. If you're leaving as a tourist, ano ba ang kailangan? Wala. Like, they have the departure formality in PDF form, but it's not like readily available in public. You have to research para mahanap yun. And I've seen on the news, immigration spokesperson, being asked, what do we really need to travel? And they would say, you just need passport, visa, and return ticket. That and other documents. Other documents what? That is very vague, unhelpful. So I think the government should publish clear, comprehensive travel requirements. And if the traveler meets those requirements, let them go. There shouldn't be any reason to offload them. And if you look at it, we've already applied for the visa in our country of destination. We've already proven ourselves worthy to travel there. Bakit nyo kami pipigilan? Next, this one is from our fellow Filipinos. Mandate the use of cameras for immigration officers and record secondary inspections. They should be made to wear body cameras. Strengthen accountability and transparency. I-record nyo ang inyong mga interview kasi you're known to harass people. So, record natin yan. So, if there is really harassment, then we can complain. We have evidence. Because you don't allow us to record in immigration, right? Well, then have the body cameras, have CCTVs, have recorders. Let's see. Next, dispute resolution for offloaded travelers. So currently, the decision to offload one traveler is up to the discretion of one immigration officer or a few. To address this issue, travelers should be given the opportunity to dispute the decision to offload them at the airport. There should be another table where you could go and say, the immigration says I'm offloaded and I don't think that's right. Have a look at it. And it shouldn't be immigration. At least another agency, because right now, your reputation is just broke. Ultimately, these immigration officers should be audited as well. The recording of offloadings should be recorded, should be audited. The checkers should be checked as well. And lastly, the government should intensify the efforts in the fight of human trafficking in the barangay level, in online level as well. Border control should not be the central part of our anti-trafficking strategy. We need more structural approaches like social protection, cracking down on shady recruitment practices. We should go after them with these traffickers in the barangay level. Even online, Facebook is so evil. I feel like it's responsible to so many scams. Facebook talaga. And well, we shouldn't let our travelers or the victims to arrive at the airport and be offloaded. Right now, even we are a hub for human trafficking. Malaysians coming in the Philippines being trafficked to work for syndicates. Wow, it's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me pala tayo din. Although then why are we not being strict on incoming travelers? The root of the problem, human trafficking, yung illegal recruitment, it goes back to poverty, lack of economic opportunities in our country, lack of education, and corruption. Poverty, lack of opportunities, like applying for jobs here in the Philippines. Ang grabe, ang taas-taas ng standards, pero yung sweldo, this. Ridiculous. The job requirements here are ridiculous. That needs to be fixed. Lack of education. Our kababayans need to be aware what are the ways to secure jobs abroad. Take down those scam posts on Facebook. Government should run after Facebook. Like Facebook really is talagang it has a big role in this human trafficking scams ganun. And lastly, corruption, because government officials, some of you are benefiting or being paid by human trafficking agencies yourselves. That's all. That's my rant for Philippine offloading. Guys, what do you think about my suggestion?